Hello everybody and welcome back to Engines of Via. Well, this is not actually Engines of Via, but it is still a side episode of the original show. A long while back, I said I would do the GPA30H and I never did it. But here we are now, covering the GPA30H. Now, I would like to warn you all about this, but this episode will be a lot shorter than the other episodes in the series, like the FP9 and the F40 episodes. I'm going to try and keep this one sweet and simple, whilst explaining the GPA30H. Now, after reintroducing you to Engines of Via, I want to talk about an upcoming series called Equipment of Via. I have sat down and thought about cancelling the short series due to extremely short episodes and lack of information. However, I do want to hear it from you guys if you guys want Equipment of Via. I feel like I should still do the series for the sole purpose of continuing the Via series. Also, after sitting down for a bit, I have another series planned for January, but don't get your hopes up on it. This is one for all the American fans that I have, while I also do Engines of Go Transit. The series that I have in mind is called Engines of the Santa Fe. I will not cover all of the engines that Santa Fe had, but the ones that you most commonly saw right before the merger with Burlington Northern in 1995. The reason I thought of doing Engines of Santa Fe is I was watching the DVD documentary I have on Santa Fe called Santa Fe Mainline Memories. The documentary takes place just months before the Santa Fe Burlington Northern merger. However, this idea is most likely to fall through due to the amount of work I have planned for January. Anyway, how about we actually talk about today's topic? The Via Rail CAD Rebuild GPA-30H. The CAD or CAD Railway Industries GPA30D/H is a modified version of the Via Rail ordered GMD GPA-30A, GPA-30B, and the GPA-30C. CAD is a world leader in locomotive refurbishment. Their biggest project and the most known is the rebuild of the Via Rail F40PHs. Before we go any further into this, I would like to let people know this since it's a pet peeve of mine. Although Via Rail ordered the F40PHs as F40PH-2Ds does not mean that the rebuild changed their name. They are still classified as F40PH-2Ds. You might think that I am wrong with this, but even Rapido Trains Inc. wrote an article titled, "It's not called an F40PH-3D." Anyway, with my little pet peeve out of the way, let's get on to the rebuild and the differences between the rebuilt and the unrebuilt. Let's start with the more obvious thing. When the locomotives were rebuilt, they also changed from Canadian scheme to Renaissance scheme. Like I have stated in almost every episode, Canadian scheme is my all-time favorite scheme on an F40PH ever. We also all know my feelings for Renaissance scheme. Now, let's move on to the body modifications themselves. The GPA30H's HEP, or head end power, alternator was separated from the prime mover to quiet down the engine. You guys might not know this, but the nickname for the F40PH was Screamers. The reason for this is when the HEP is running, it ran the engine at a constant 900 RPM, which is a huge waste of fuel and energy. The rebuild completely separated the HEP alternator from the engine, moving it towards the back of the engine. That's why there is no platform on the Via F40s anymore. Another really big difference is the addition of the third high-intensity discharge headlight. Although some of the unrebuilt F40s received them, but the rebuild program made sure that all 53 F40s had them. Another kind of cool fact is the rebuild also saw the addition of the second emergency horn, a modified K5 LLA. This time I will also give you guys a sample. Another thing that was removed, which to me is a bummer because they were very iconic thing to the Via F40s, was the removal of the CN marker lights. Now that we have talked about body changes, let's move on to the prime mover changes. The old EMD 645 E3C was replaced by an EMD 16-645 E3C-T1 outputting 3,200 horsepower. You know, like I said last episode, I am sad to see the series come to an end, but at least we can continue it with Engines of Go Transit. Anyways, that is for me, folks, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the side episode of Engines of Via. I am very glad that we were able to continue with one last episode before the official end. I would also like to thank everybody that left a nice comment on last episode. You all seem to love it, while I seen it as a poorly written episode. However, I'm not complaining. I am very glad that you guys enjoyed the series. Let me know if you guys actually would like to see equipment of VIA. If so, I will see you guys then. And if not, then I will see you guys in January with the first episode of Engines of Go Transit. And you also can't forget the other series that I'm doing in early January. Have a good day, everyone. This has been Via Rail Fan saying this one last time. I hope you guys enjoyed the last official episode of Engines of VIA.